Hello everyone, rest of Aquarimax here. Let's see who's here. I see we have Ninja and Chet and Alexander Dawson. Let's see, Melanie KM. Awesome. That's very cool. So welcome everyone. It is now time to witness. Let's see. That's not bad. I'm trying to see how the glare is with the glass closed. That could come in handy. That's not bad at all. I'm going to change it to live chat. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Can everybody hear me? I've got a microphone plugged in, so I really hope so. Let's make sure everybody can hear me before we get started. Okay, Melanie, thank you for chiming in on that. I am going to move some snakes over to this. This is temporary setup. I'm going to be moving some snakes up over to this soon, in just a second here. Okay, so Melanie, Chet, Frank the Tank, Gryla Day, Gay Ginger, and Major WD. Okay, excellent. Welcome. Yep, Gay Ginger, this is your first time here. That's fantastic. Good to see you here. Anthracite Exotics. Do I say anthracite? Anthracite, I always forget. How does that work? I know it's a type of coal, but here is a humid hide with moss in it. You see it's just a food saver container. Sphagnum moss, drilled a hole in here with a hole saw. Put that on top, and then I put this on top, and that keeps it nice and dark because they have to crawl in here and then crawl all over to the other side to get through the hole, so there's not a lot of light in there, and they like the little dark places. It also absorbs some of the heat from the light and stays nice and warm in there. So I'm going to set this up over here. I haven't decided exactly where I'm going to put it, but for right now I'm going to put it here because that's where it's going to get where it's going to get some heat. Okay, I'm turning on the heat lamp. It's going to get some residual heat lamp from there, or heat from that. Let's see, Joseph Tavir is here as well. Good. And I'm going to put a cool hide in too. Cooler dark hide on the other side. It's basically the same thing, but I'm not adding a bunch of wet sphagnum moss to it. So it will stay drier, and it's on the cooler side of the vivarium. So it will stay cool. And right now, my purpose is not setting up anything super cool and nice looking. This is just utilitarian for now, as I'm moving things around for a little while. See, Laura Yadeski's here as well. Great. So, as I put the snakes in, I'm going to give them a wipe down. I'm also going to put a fresh water dish in here. Let's see. I've got my choice of water dishes to some degree here. I'm going to put one right there, and I'm going to put some nice fresh water in it right now. Try not to get too much of the aspen bedding wet if I can avoid it. So, where'd I put my damn paper towel? So I'm picking up snakes, and as I pick them up to put them in, I'm going to wipe them down. They need a bit of a wipe down. Black snakes especially, snakes have a tendency to get fairly dirty sometimes, but when they're kept communally especially, they'll tend to poop on each other and whatnot, which is not pleasant. But in black snakes, it especially shows up when they need to be cleaned off. Excuse me, I'm sorry, fairly often. So, doing a bit of wipe down. Who is this here? This is Grenda. Grenda, okay. Wiping down Grenda. All right, let's take a look. Here's Grenda. I know the lighting's not great for this beautiful melanistic garter from where you're sitting, but this is one of my males, Grenda. despite the name, is a male. Yeah. I am feeling not my best. I think the cough is just, I don't know, something lodged in my throat with something, I don't know. It was not, I haven't had like coughing symptomatic of illness lately. That was a random cough. So, wiping down the next one here. This is Carlos. Wiping down Carlos. Now Carlos is a male, just like Grenda is. Hopefully you can see Grenda just chucking along there a little bit. Okay, here is Carlos. You can see I've got a lot of cork bark set up in here for them to crawl on. I'm not sure if it's what the other kind of bark it is, but Charlie Moorcroft sent it to me from Florida, and I thought that piece of bark looks perfect for this enclosure. I'm going to put it in. Put it in there. I'm now giving a wipe down to the last male that I have. This is Cecil. Cecil has the most white markings near his chin, very easy to recognize. And the male that I had originally, Mabel, I sent off to trade with Ryan McVeigh. He needed a male, I needed a female melanistic. So that's how we did that, and we're all set up now. I have a female from him, and I'm gonna take her out in just a second, figure out where she's hanging out. Not under there. Oh, there she's under this hide. Okay. I need another damp paper towel, wipe her down. She's gonna need it. She's gonna need it. Okay. She was a little bit wild when I first got her, pretty feisty. She has calmed down considerably. She's also put on a little size since then, which is nice. But she doesn't really like being wiped down that much. Is not terribly happy about it, but she does need to be wiped off a bit on her way into this temporary setup. This is a 40-gallon breeder enclosure here, and none of these snakes are very, very large yet. The males are, they've done most of their growing. They'll still grow because they're snakes. They'll put on some size. But the female here, Kiki, is considerably larger than they are. She's not all that much longer, but she's girthier. She's wider. Oh, I missed some spots on her tail. That's okay. Catch that at some point. Let's see if we can get a closer up look at what's going on in here. Just 1 second here. Sorry, everyone. Right back. Gonna play with the camera a little bit here so you can get a better look at what's going on. I had to close the door to step out of the room just a little. And I want to remove the camera. Oop. I moved Move the microphone. Holy cow. Yeah, I'm making a mess. Okay. There. Got stuff all over the floor right now. I have, since I've been sick, I've been trying to chip away at the things that I've had to do, and not done. But let's take a look at this little snake pile here. Let's see who's all in that pile. I think everybody's there. Everybody's in this little pile of snakes. Okay, cool. So we've got Simon. Happy Wednesday to you as well, Simon. And Gryliday has a question in my videos about crickets. Okay, I'm up for that. What can we talk about with the crickets? See, this is Cecil. Oh, we're getting some overexposure up against the bark there. How's that? That's a little bit better. Go ahead, Gryliday. Gryliday per kcal, like kilocalories? Red fish pellet food. Do you remember the brand of fish food you used? Probably. I was probably using omega-1. Like omega-1 super color cichlid pellet sinking formula. That's the one I tend to use. Or one very similar, another one of the omega-1 brands. If I didn't know any better, I would say that these snakes are looking a little bit like, not full-on courtship, but a little bit like they do when they're in courtship. The males climb along the female's body, and then they start doing this little wiggly thing. And they're not doing it completely, but oh, you know, this, wow. Yeah, that's working. You can see some of the plants that are growing in my another tank that have grown over a little bit to the side here. For right now, I just have a garbage bag on in the background. That's all I'm using for the moment, because this is meant to be a very temporary setup. I want to go bioactive eventually with this enclosure again, which is what I had. Well, this is a new enclosure, but most of my snakes have been in bioactives, except for the babies, and I want to make this a bioactive at some point in the near future. But for right now, I'm just going to focus on getting everybody in here. I have to make some decisions about breeding and so on, and I'm trying to figure out what to do. Because I do have an eastern garter. These are eastern garters. The subspecies Sertalis, or is Sertalis. The species is Sertalis, subspecies also Sertalis. And that's what these are. And I have melanistics, you know, the 4 melanistics that I showed you. I also have what appears to be a wild type with some flame ancestry, and I don't know whether or not she's going to produce any flames or not, since she's not expressing the trait. Flame is not like a single gene recessive. It's not a recessive at all, from what I understand. And so I'm not sure what happens when an individual that does not show the trait reproduces. Typically, a flame can have flame babies even if only one parent is flame and the other one doesn't have any flame ancestry, but this is my understanding. It's a basically, I'm not sure which type of dominance it is, one of the types of dominance. But when you get 2 copies of the gene, you can get more flame, I guess. So we'll see what happens. I'm thinking of putting her in here, but if I do, then my red-sided female, who is rooming with my eastern, won't have a buddy, and I don't really like to do that. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure. Yeah, it hasn't been very hot here lately. My temperature in my area is probably similar to Laura Yudesky's because we're not that far away from each other. Let's see. 84. So not bad. And that's the high for today. It's actually pretty cool week. Pretty cool week. So typically in August around here, in the end of August, first part of August is pretty hot, and the second part of August kind of cools down. It's pretty normal here. I know some of you live in places where that's not how it works. That does seem to be how it works here. So, I don't know if they're just clustering together for giggles or if they're clustering together because the males are actually pursuing the female a little bit. Sometimes I'll get some courting behavior in the fall, but it's a little early for that. Brandy Haltley, 48 Fahrenheit here. Quite cool. What part of the world are you in? Anthracite exotic. See, 95, that's more what I would expect to see in early August or even hotter, but late August it usually cools down quite a bit here. Oh, whenever I try to film over that bark, it just kind of whites out a little bit, doesn't it? There we go. Tennyson, hello. How's it going? Oh, southern Alberta. Is it typically that cold? I know Canada gets really cold in the winter. I thought the summers were pretty warm, but I guess it probably depends on the part of Canada you're in. And day by day, too, I would imagine. Just like it does here. See, I wish I had noticed that we've got this tillandsia. Oh, it's not working. When I got this bark, I didn't really pay attention to the fact, you can't really see it that well, but a tillandsia was growing on there. I could have carefully removed it and got it growing. Charlie sent me some ball moss at the same time, attached to a little branch, and I've got that growing. It's considerably bigger, maybe twice the size it was when I got it, when he sent it to me. I really like ball moss. I like tillandsias in general. I have quite a number of species of them. Got a lot of pups right now. Fun stuff. Ooh, 103 in Ohio, and I bet the humidity wasn't too low either, so it probably felt even hotter. Here, when it gets to 103, the humidity is pretty low, so it may not be a walk in the park, but it's usually fairly low humidity, so wow. You can have a drink. I love watching snakes drink. It's kind of like watching tortoises eat. I like watching snakes eat too, as far as that goes. Today will probably be a shorter stream. It is an earlier stream, probably be shorter as well. But if there are folks who have questions and so on, I'm happy to answer them as I just watch these snakes explore. I love how curious garter snakes are. That is one of the attractions of garter snakes to me, is that they are so curious. Of course, they're communal too, and that's fun. Oh, okay, Randy, that makes sense. Yeah, probably something like that, Frank. I've got a lot of stuff going on, and I wanted to, of course, have some time to drop in here and chat with y'all, but I'm probably going to have to cut it a little short. They're seeming fairly cautious with their explorations, but they're doing it. So Yotaro, I typically do not keep my garters on aspen. This is just temporarily set up like this. I usually do just bioactive, the bioactive mixes like BioDude, or I've used Instinct Habitats. I've used, I think, is it My Thai Exotics is one of them that I have set up, stuff like that. And then I put a layer of leaf litter on top and whatnot, but that's not what we have here today, but that's typically what I do. This is just a temporary setup. Oh, malachite, yeah. Growing plants in bioactive vivaria, I find that's the most fun way for me to do it, either in aquariums or in bioactive vivaria, because there's so little extra care. And you can see these pothos vines are coming out of an aquarium and reaching over here. I like that when they do that. It's like you can see some dead leaves that are in between the aquariums. They're a little bit difficult to reach, so the dead leaves kind of accumulate in there. I do, get back in there and prune once in a while, but it looks like I need to do it again. But I have Zebrina, the Tradescantia Zebrina, and the Aquarium aurum, is that what it is? It's just the normal pothos growing out of the tank, and with my endlers, because there's so many endlers in there, and need something for nutrient export, so that's what I've got going. I think I've got a couple of other plants growing out of there possibly, or I've had like spider plants in there and different Tradescantias and things growing out of the tank. And in the tank there's a bunch of duckweed and some water lettuce. Although I put some mystery snails in there to see if they'll help take care of the duckweed. I would love that. Not a big fan of duckweed myself. Yeah, one thing about a bioactive terrarium for tortoises, since they're herbivores, that's going to take some interesting planning. But I'm sure you can do it. Hello, Kearns. Welcome. Oh, Tima. Yeah. Pothos in the betta tank and shrimp and guppies. Some good enrichment, right? Ooh, yawn. Did everybody catch that double yawn? I love snake yawns. They're so fun. There's something undeniably cute about snake yawns, I think. Whether they're just doing it just for giggles like that, or, well, I don't know why you're doing it there, or the ones they do after they eat. I just love it. Duckweed is the glitter of the aquarium world, in the sense that it gets everywhere you don't want it, and it's possible to remove entirely. In that sense, I agree. There are things I like about duckweed, but I've decided that all things considered, I'd rather not have it. Even though there are lots of benefits to it. Goldfish love it. It's a good nutrient exporter. It's super easy to grow. It's almost impossible not to grow. I just find that in my beetle tank, aquatic beetle and other insect tank, I should say, that the giant water scavenger beetle really keeps it under control most of the time. It tends to eat most of it. And so I get little bits here and there, but it doesn't I don't have to scoop out chunks of it every week or two. Whereas in my endler tank, it has been going like gangbusters, and I don't really want it to, and so I have decided to put those mystery snails in to see if they'll help. That is my plan. So far, I think it's working. They've only been there a couple weeks, but I haven't noticed I've noticed the duckweed not growing as fast, so I assume they're eating some of it. They're fairly young right now. Oh, there's Kiki. I'm going to see if I can get her on film. Right behind the water dish here. It's kind of fun. There she is. She's checking us out. Can you see her? I don't even know if that's... You can see her tongue flicking, probably. She probably feels a little bit reserved and nervous with all this stuff going on, I'm guessing. Oh, Yotaro, you found a source of frozen silver sides, the good stuff, the thiaminase-free stuff. Good. They tend to like those, I find, a lot. My garters, a lot of them have taken them on the first shot without having to scent them with anything else that they like. Kiki ought to start a delivery service, and they should make, like, a Miyazaki film about it or something. Great idea. I like that. So these particular garters, Laura, come from... What is he doing? What is he doing? He was doing something weird with his head. I wonder if that was... Huh. Oh, you're trying to climb out, and I'm not going to let you do that, sir. Sorry. I'm not going to let you do that. There you go. You can stay in there. These particular garters, the males came from the Odd Tinoir. He is a breeder out of California. has been breeding garters for a while and breeds quite a few different types of garters. So he produced the males, and the female came from Ryan McVeigh of VivTech, and I don't know where he got her. I don't know if he bred her or whatever, but that's where I traded for a male because he needed a male and I needed a female. Because my original intention was to get 2 males and 2 females, and sometimes when you sex garters when they're little, you get like false males. Or not false males, you get false females. You don't get false males. If you pop it and it's a male, it's a male. It's pretty hard to mistake it. But sometimes you can pop a male and it looks like a female, and then you have a problem when they grow up. And that just happens. It's part of the deal. So that's why I traded one, so I get some breeding going. With garters, I don't know how many of you know this, but with garters, a lot of times it is easier and better to breed with more males versus females, because when you have more females, we have more males, they tend to respond to having competition pretty well. In the wild, the males often outnumber the females when they're mating. They call them breeding balls, and you have a whole bunch of males that are trying to compete for one female. So having 2 or 3 males for one female can be really good. With my red-sideds, I had 1 female and 2 males, and that always worked. They were always trying to breed at the right time of year, and sometimes at the other times of year as well. So I think it's a good ratio to start with the 3 males to 1 female. I'm pretty likely to get some babies in the spring. I'm still hoping we might get a fall clutch. She's eating really, really well, like she's, but when I tried to palpate her the other day, I didn't feel anything, but you never know. We might get some babies. Thank you, Frank. We got a warning for the timing. And yeah, so in about 3 minutes, we're going to end the stream so I can feed these folks. Unfortunately, YouTube does not like when I feed snakes, usually. Depending on what I feed them matters too, but I'm feeding them frozen thawed pinkies. But even though they're not live, I don't give my snakes live mice. YouTube doesn't like it. So I will feed them off camera. But yeah, Yotaro was asking me about the male garter. Seems to be really, really intent. I'm going to put it that way, intent on mating. Is Kiki still hiding back there? There's her head. You can see her a little bit. Well, it's darker there though. What if I move the light? You can see her hanging out. She's still the most reserved of all of the snakes in here, I feel like. The males are a lot more exploratory and stuff, but she's tamed down a lot. She'll take food from my hands. She will, when I got her, she just about zipped out of the snake bag and was pretty, she would strike at the glass and everything for a little while. I think she was just acclimating, and then she just calmed down and I can pick her up and it's not a problem. She doesn't try to bite me or anything. When she's in food mode, it's a little bit different, but when she's not in food mode, she's fine. She's not going to cause a problem. Let's see if we can look at this little guy. There he is. Well, we have approximately 1 more minute, everybody. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my plans. I eventually want to do a really nice background on here. Right now I just have a cut up garbage bag in the back so it's easier to see what's going on inside here. I'm going to put a lot of branches and probably some hammocks or something like that for the snakes to crawl on. They do like levels, and you can see I do have some levels. This is a hollow, cork round, whatever, cork log, I guess. And then this big piece of bark slants and provides a lot of hiding places and crawling places. And then we've got, of course, the 2 different hides, but I'm gonna make some more. So yeah, this is a nice big piece of cork bark. I think I got it with my last bulk cork order. I used to be able to get bulk cork orders for like $100 to get a big old box of them. And I really like them. I wonder if Kiki's going to take a drink. I think she is. We're going to watch Kiki take a little drink. Yep, here she goes. And we're going to end on that note with Kiki taking a drink, because what is cuter than a little snake having a sip? probably not very many things. I love it. So thank you for joining, everyone. And got a video lined up. I'm ahead. It's been a while. Things have been sort of hand to mouth with getting sick and all, but I'm back to the point where I have several videos filmed ahead of time, and so I've got a video already ready for Friday and next Friday and nearly the Friday after that. So thank you, everybody, and have a good one.